And the question and the challenge that everybody has is, so what is your role in society, and what is your personal development going to be in the next 3 years? Here's a simple exercise to ensure that you're going to be a happy and successful person in 3 years. Drawing your future actually means, think about yourself today. What are the challenges you have today? What are the struggles you have? What are things you're unhappy about? And then you envision yourself as a person in 3 years. So if everything goes right and you do everything in a very nice way, what is your person going to be in 3 years? And then you can draw your person now, and then you draw your personality in 3 years. And then you can see how you get there. What are the steps needed to take to actually achieve that? It's actually very interesting how the mind works. If you visualize something, then it's very simple for the mind to keep that picture in your head. So if you draw yourself in 3 years, that picture is going to be part of your memory in moving forward, and it'll come back in certain times of the day, and you'll think about, am I on the right track to become that person? Am I doing the right things to become that person? And then things become very clear, because the goal is constantly in your mind, and you also can think about what are the activities you need to do to get there. And that is a very simple and great tool to become successful and also to become impactful in the society. I will quickly show you how this actually works. So first of all, I draw myself today. So where am I at today? Well, actually, I'm cycling a lot. After taking my bike from New York to San Francisco, I learned that distances are not a problem. So most of the times I cycle. So let me draw myself today on the bike, because this is my favorite exercise and something I really love to do. Actually, you don't have to be a good drawer to do this. It's perfectly okay just to so I draw myself on the bike, and here I am, a person biking. I'm also engaged in a lot of organizations. So I co-founded Make the Planet Great Again. So we just call it MTPGA, and I spend my time working with great projects together, and trying to help them move forward and solve the challenges of behavior change. Also, I'm an expert in artificial intelligence, so I spend a lot of time reading, and I test new artificial intelligence solutions. I work with some teams, and this is called AI and You. This is one of the organizations I'm involved in. I also have a digital agency I co-founded. It's called Next. And I spent a lot of time there working with the teams and working with larger corporations around the world on digital solutions, driving them forward. In the last 2 years, I also founded 2 startups. So one is called Mooncare. It's a senior care venture. It's a digital assistant. It's an app helping families take care of older people. I created an organization called Share Your Space, which is like an Airbnb for office space. And I work together with a lot of nice and innovative teams. So as you can imagine, I'm quite a busy person. And sometimes I think, wow, all these activities, I'm so busy, right? And am I really impactful? And am I reaching my full potential? So now I envision myself in the future. So who will I be in 3 years? What will I change? And what are the things needed to get there? So I like to draw myself in the future. So what do I look like in the future? And what do I actually do in the future? Well, since I love biking, I think I want to bike a lot more, because biking is so insightful for me. It's inspiring. It gives me a lot of energy. I feel healthy. I love to eat good food after cycling. So I want to be a lot more of a cyclist in the future. So let me draw myself on a bigger cycle, right? So I want to grow, right? And I want to become much more of a cyclist in the future. And every day I want to cycle for a few hours on my bike. Actually, I'm not very good at drawing my bike. But so you can already see one shift. I'm biking most of the time now. I want to bike a lot more in the future. And then I want to focus on one topic, which is becoming very important for me. And this is the topic of regeneration. Because I think it's not good enough just to live sustainable and to come up with sustainable solutions, right? Because I think we're in a situation on our planet where that is not good enough. We need to regenerate the planet. And I also think we need to regenerate ourselves. as humans, our human hearts, how we interact with each other. So my main topic in the future is going to be regeneration. Right? So that should be on the top of my mind in everything I do in the future. So how do I transport myself from today to myself into the future, where I focus on regeneration? And now drawing a feature gives you a simple tip. So you draw 3 arrows moving from where you are today to where you're going to be in the future. So what are my 3 arrows moving forward? And each one of those gets to do this exercise in a few minutes. So you draw 3 arrows. So 3 things you want to do in reaching that goal. What are the 3 things I'm going to do in the way forward? Well, first of all, I'm writing a book on regeneration at the moment, because I think it's good to have my thoughts clear and to ensure that I understand regeneration and what that means and how it can be achieved. So I'm actually working with Shannon here on the team in writing a book on regeneration. It's called The Regeneration: How to Make the Planet Great Again. So that's the first activity I'm going to do. And it's all about focusing my thoughts, getting things down on paper. I don't know if anybody's going to read it. I don't know if it will be successful. And that is actually not important. But what's really important is to, structure my thought and to have a clarity on regeneration. And I think writing or taking a video, writing an essay is a very good way of actually doing that. Then I want to come up with concrete solutions for regeneration. So I will take all my activities that I'm doing here, working with the Make the Planet Great Again projects, hopefully working with you after this hackathon, after we connect. My work on artificial intelligence, my work in my startups and my digital agency is going to focus on regeneration. And I will look at all different aspects: regeneration of the planet, regeneration of the society, regeneration of humans, right, to move forward. So that is the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to work with teams, because I love working with people, and that is quite impactful because each of those teams can change their solutions in moving forward. And a third thing I'm going to do is regenerate myself, and that is actually by cycling. So I will commit not to drive anymore at all. So I've already, reduced my driving up to probably to about 5% or 3%. But in the future, I will stop driving completely. That means any distance I take, I will have to take on the bike, no matter how far it is, to visit a team, to visit a customer. I will ride my bike and not take a car or any other way of transportation. So this is the exercise. This is as simple as that. So this is the picture I can take forward now. It's very simple. I can have it in my mind, because if I draw it, it actually gets in my mind, and I will think about it. I can actually print it out. I can hang it above my desk, and I can see myself. Am I reaching this goal? Is this going to be me in the future? Are my activities taking me there? And now I would like you guys to do this exercise. So draw yourself, take some time. I think we will take 10 minutes of your time now. And I want you to spend a few minutes thinking about who are you today? What are you doing? And what are your struggles? Right? And draw yourself as you see yourself today. Right? And as a next step, draw how you would like to see yourself in the future. What do you want to achieve in 3 years? Where do you want to be as a person? And you can use some words or some icons to draw yourself in the future. And then make 3 connecting arrows. How do you get yourself from where you are today to where you want to be and where you see yourself in the future? And then think about what are 3 activities you need to do to get there. Of course, life is quite complex, but 3 things are easy to remember. And once you've drawn this, you will always remember those 3 things, and you can think about them every day. You can work on them every day. And I have noticed that you can actually achieve those goals much faster. So you don't have to wait 3 years. Once your picture of the future becomes clear, it's easy to achieve that just by focusing on those 3 activities. So let's use this exercise to get your personal creative juices flowing. So this is an exercise that each one of you can do by yourself now. So go ahead, take your time. We will set a quick timer for 10 minutes. Think about yourself today. Think about yourself in the future. Draw your 3 arrows on a piece of paper. And then when you're ready, please take a photo of that and post it into the Slack channel, right? Because that's good as a way of a commitment, and we will review those pictures at the end of the hackathon tomorrow. You will already see that you've made some progress to the person that you wanted to be. So now go ahead, take 10 minutes of your time. I'll ask Siri to help us. Hey Siri, set the timer for 10 minutes. Okay, now we have a timer starting for 10 minutes. And go ahead, take your time and draw as nice as you can your solution and your what you envision yourself to be in the future. Enjoy this exercise. It's all about yourself. Take good care of yourself and take the time to go ahead and do this. So we'll start now, and I'm looking forward to see your pictures in 10 minutes. Okay, so we will start with a quick recap of yesterday, and we have put together just a few slides for you here to show you some impressions from yesterday. I really love the session, Draw Your Future. Really useful for you to think about where are you today, where are you going to be in the future, what are 3 things you have to work on. So keep on reminding that, hang that up, and redo it every 6 months to see if it's constant or to see some of the things changing. Sometimes it's just one arrow changing, sometimes it's a little bit your picture of the future, and that's perfectly okay. Obviously, we're living in a very accelerated environment where things are changing rapidly, and it also makes sense for you to adapt to that. That's one of the skills you will be needing in the future anyway, to adapt to upcoming situation. So maybe we can move on a little bit for some other impressions from yesterday. Yeah, so this is how we started. This was actually the morning view when it was like about lunch at your time. It's not good to show you the picture now because you would just have a black screen as it's black outside. It did get light yesterday. Yeah, and meanwhile in the Philippines it was much nicer and sunnier, and it was really good to see your picture and the temperature you had there. And we're all very envious, and we wish we would be there with you in the sunny and beautiful weather. But I'm sure there'll be that opportunity next time. We will come to the Philippines. We have some projects there, like Virtualahan, which we are supporting, and maybe we'll be supporting one of the projects from this hackathon in the future. So we do plan to come and to visit you, and we'll let all the participants know when we're coming. If you do come to Germany in the meantime, or to Europe, you do look us up, do connect with us, and we'd be happy to host you and give you some tips, maybe show you around, because it would be so nice to meet in person. Okay, this was our studio yesterday, meanwhile in Germany, and it looked a little bit like this today. And if moving on to the next slide, you will see our team sitting there. Julian's still sitting on the sofa like yesterday. He looks a little bit less tired this morning. I think we got 1 hour extra sleep this morning. Shannon is also smiling because she's a little bit less stressed from all the technology and pulling in together all the people and doing all the organization by herself. I think she's done a great job so far. It's been really nice. Everything is worked hopefully well for you guys. Even across the distance, I think we managed to connect quite nicely. Yeah, tech challenges also work. We had some tech challenges in the background, as you can see here, that sometimes things are not perfect. But I guess that's okay, just for such a dynamic event. As long as you can hear us well and we can chat via Slack or via Airmeet, I think all these things are quite nice and can easily be overcome. I can just stand on my head and then you'll see me the right way. Actually, I need to practice that anyway. I haven't done that in a while. Do we have more slides, Shannon? Yes. And meanwhile, in the Philippines, as we're struggling with the tech challenges, it got much nicer for you. We saw beautiful trees, which we don't even have here. We can only imagine, how beautiful they are and how tasty the fruit are. By the time we get the fruit here in Germany from you guys, it's not really good. First of all, not good for the planet to ship them here. And then second of all, they'd only taste half as good as they do when you eat them in your area. Yeah. Okay, Peter kicked us off in the morning with asking the question, why? Wait, but why? Why are we in this situation? And what is important that we need to think about moving forward? And why do we have to be active? Right? So I think that was quite a nice setup to start then into the ideation phase. And if we move forward, Then I think Gita also was very nice to give us some insight on her project, Water for All. What a nice challenge. I think it's important to have an ambitious challenge because it'll be much easier to raise a team. It'll be much easier to raise funding for it. It's also good for having an impact, but of course it requires you to have a very unique thing, because the bigger you think, of course, the harder it is to implement. So you have to ensure that your solution is quite unique and has a very good idea that everybody gets it in moving forward. Then we moved into the ideation session, and we joined some of your discussions here in the teams. We formed 3 teams which are actually working on it. Also, thank you very much for the facilitators for guiding the teams through the process. I think you did a wonderful job. And when we jumped into the conversation, I think you guys were spot on, discussing the issues, making decisions, noting them down. It's not easy to bring together people who don't work together all the time and regularly in one session, and just in 2 days to come up with concrete ideas. I think yesterday you formed the big ideas. Today you will learn some tools on how to bring those ideas into reality fast. So I think that's a very valuable skill in you guys moving forward.